I got up 10 minutes early and the dishwasher is empty. Those things Don normally does for me that he's not here to do. Hi, Marty. I will be out soon, buddy. I'm working on that caffeine and your food. And neither Don nor Johnny are in the kitchen, so I've been playing me a little music this morning for some get up and go. Started out with, you guessed it, Jump. Well, there's a chance of thunderstorms today, and it's raining out here a little bit right now. I wasn't expecting that. Just a little bit though. And Tuck's, I couldn't get their food in here because Tuck started to come, so maybe I'll move it in a minute. I don't want food getting all wet and spoiled first thing off this morning. I'm gonna go move Ruby quick while these guys are preoccupied. So far so good this morning. I think I'm on time. And I don't think it's going to pour on the way downtown. Just kind of a little misty out there. Well, Ruby's a little wet, but the rain has stopped. Be just fine with me if it doesn't rain during the commute. Good morning, Ruby! It's 64 out there this morning. Most of the rain went Raleigh north. So we literally just had this little spatter of rain down here in Fuquay. Our arrival time is 7:28. Hopefully we won't lose any more time on the ride. I thought about putting on my sneakers and just stopping at the track on the way back to the house and walking. Yeah, bus be really nice if you went on your side of the line. But the restrooms aren't open over there super early. The guy that goes around, he's got to open all of the park restrooms around town, and he kind of makes a circuit, does the trash and stuff. So that's not happening. I got to go to the house first. Put on my sneakers, use the restroom, and then go back out to walk. I don't think the rain is gonna bother. I don't think it's gonna drop south. I don't think we're gonna get any more today. So I did talk to Don last night, and he was having a good time. They fixed him a ribeye steak for dinner, and he made some eggs to go along with it, and he was quite pleased. Went for a drive in Jules, and also went for a drive in their BMW, which is a newer sporty. I don't remember the model. So that was fun for them, and just sat around and talked and caught up, and it was all good. You know, Don's not got the alarm set for any time in particular today. He'll get up and enjoy a little bit of coffee with them and more chat, and then head down to JB's house. It takes a little over 2 hours to get to JB's house from there, but mostly because there's a swamp in between and you can't go on a straight line. You have to make this diversion around the swampy area in Florida, and it makes what would be a short trip a little bit longer. I'm at St. Monica's. I still had autopilot, but I have the driving visualization temporarily degraded message again. But that one is, I don't know, it doesn't take autopilot away. I haven't lost it, and this would be the 4th day of driving. Well, maybe yesterday if you want to count around town, the 5th day. I got in my morning pogo and ran a Xerneas raid for the Fuquay group, which I can do from here. The cookout gym had that legendary this morning. It's nice to use a local pass instead of a remote pass. So Johnny and I over the weekend went ahead and scheduled a small group tour at NC State. That's at 2 p.m. today, so I'll be picking him up an hour later than normal at 1 p.m. It's on the older part of campus, not Centennial. I mean, it might go over to Centennial, but I don't think so. It starts out at the Student Union, and it basically tours the area where the dorms are and where freshmen would take classes. Johnny may enter with enough credits to be considered a sophomore, but you know, it would be his freshman-like experience on campus. So we wanted to, you know, make sure he got to see that part of campus as well. I know he has an upcoming engineering day thing down on Campbell, a session where I think that's a drop students off and come back like 4 hours later for him, I think. So I probably would shop down in that area. It would be borderline worth coming back home in between. But he'd like to get on UNC Charlotte and ECU as well, so we'll see if I can make that happen, or what's going on there. Okay, I'm home. Hey, buddy! You got out of your bed and you're on the step. Normally this time in the morning he'd still be on his bed. Maybe he was too hot. But it's only in the 60s out here. I mean, it's not like it's warm. And there comes Martykins. Hey, Mart. I was home a little bit longer than normal. It's 9:30. I handled a couple of chores. Not really related to Don not being here, just things that needed doing. And at any point, I'm just going to go park up at the park and see if I can catch up with the ladies on the track this morning. I'll walk at least 2 miles, which is 6 times around the track. I could probably do 8 and get in my 2.5. The sun's starting to come out. That's nice. Cold front's supposed to come through at 8 p.m. tonight, and it's going to be a high of 75 today and 55 tomorrow. So it's going to be quite a bit of difference. They said we won't start to really warm back up until Friday, so we'll have a few cooler days. And let's see what else. I don't know. I think that's all I wanted to say. I have heard from Don this morning. He does have coffee. He was in a good mood. I think he slept okay. And yeah. Well, they are here mowing this morning, but none of the ladies are here to walk, at least not yet, although the sun's out now, and I do recognize a couple other people on the track. I didn't walk yesterday. Number 1, Don wasn't here. Number 2, my knees have been giving me some trouble, and I thought a day off might be good. And 3, I really wanted to do stuff around the house and just didn't feel like I wanted to lose the 1.5 hours. This is lap 5. I think it's 5. I've been sending Don numbers, but now I can't remember if I started at the beginning or the end of every lap. Well, my watch will tell me how far I've gone. He's packing up down there. Alright, stopping to set my stuff down and take off my outer jacket. I am hot. I'm currently at 1.96 miles, so I'm going to go around 2 more times. Basically 8 laps should be close to 2.5 miles. And I've kept up my pace reasonable. I'm at 2.59 miles. You want to hear something funny? I got caught up talking to Don and playing pogo and checking something else on Facebook, and I went right past the entrance to the track, so I'm getting in another lap. Well, I'll be fully compliant with my usual walk at 9 laps around the track. It's pretty boring walking the track. I won't do this every day this week, but I really wanted to catch up with the ladies today, and I guess I missed them, and with the cooler temps tomorrow, I'm not sure I'm going to see them either. Poor Don. He kind of knew a few days before the trip that something was off with his phone. It stopped opening Jules. It didn't want to let him drive Jules. He was having to get out the key card. It's not allowing him to send or receive messages on the car. I think he was just having trouble sending and receiving messages when he's out of the car. I don't think this is a car specific issue. It seems to be an internet Wi-Fi issue. I don't know. His messages aren't, his Google chat was working a little bit better than his phone messages, but not by much. You know, I'm on Apple and he's on Android, and there is a subtle difference with messages, but I don't think it's that. It's been acting up for about 10 days now, something not right. And he had dropped the phone and the screen's cracked, but that was, you know, a long time ago, not recent, not in the last 2 months. It affects the fingerprint reader, as it happens, the crack happens to be right over the fingerprint reader, but it doesn't affect anything else. I've locked all my stuff in the car, so she's not going to open until I go in on the app and open her. Actually, yeah, 1 hour and 4 minutes, 2.77 miles, and let me see if I can, 23.17 a mile. That's pretty typical for me. I picked up a small amount of trash, but not a lot. So Dawn's phone is back to working again, but it's been like this now for a while. Fella, just please try to stay on your own side of the line. You know, the thing is, I'd like to tell the dump truck drivers is if you go off a little bit, it's not going to curb your wheels, that big heavy truck. But, you know, if you push a car off the road because you're way over the line, that could cause the person to lose control, curb their wheels, damage their car. Anyway, I'm going to get home at 10:45 a.m. I've got until 12:15 a.m. at the house, so 90 minutes. I'm probably going to sort Legos and hang out with the little black cat. She's very needy. I think she's confused about Dawn being gone, even though I'm her primary human. She does really like him too. So I'm gonna go make me another cup of coffee, and yeah.
We have cats I see down here in Valdosta. So I left Wally's and Carol's and plugged in the supercharger, and then sitting in a traffic light, I added JB's house without rearranging it. It put JB's house at the top, and of course I really want JB's house to be at the bottom, and so it did. It rearranged it for me once I started driving. So I'm at a Valdosta, Georgia superchargers. It's version 3. It's at a Sun Stop, which is like Sheets. And it's one of those that you charge on both sides. You can pull in either way, charge from the front side or the back side. There's this great big truck here, so the fact that the back side can be charged at was very handy. It's a nice little supercharger, like I said, very sheet-like, but there's only 8, and it's basically all but full. This person here thinks that they're best look to see which cables available. I helped that Model Y, told them that they parked right here, but that won't do them any good because that cable's in use, this cable's in use, and that cable's in use. They basically had to go down to the end where there's one cable, and there's one cable right there. So there's 1, 2, and then she's going to use that cable. So basically there's only 2 available slots, and you got to be picky where you park because with on both sides, you get yourself confused. So I was wrong about what it did. It put inserted a supercharger stop before JB's house, and then the Valdosta supercharger that I had put in was after JB's house. So it was basically gonna take me by the supercharger in Valdosta, then to JB's house, and wanted to come back up here. So I removed the supercharger stop. I should have just plugged in JB's address, and it would have taken me to the Valdosta supercharger on the way. That would have been the right way to handle that. It's a little slow. It says 6 minutes. I'm only doing 126 kilowatts. I think with all these Model 3, all these, they're all wise. Anyway, the point is this thing's almost full. I think they've probably clipped it because only getting 124 kilowatts. And I think it said I was going to be done quicker than this. It says 6% JB's house. I'm going to just go until it says you've got enough. Although I'm really in no big hurry to get to JB's house. I mean, I'm not on a time schedule. I wanted to get here to Valdosta yesterday as early as possible so I could visit with my friends. But I'm going to be at JB's house for a couple, 3 days.
It's going on 12:30 and I'm headed downtown to pick up Johnny. I was mostly sorting new bricks this morning, so it was pretty slow going because I was really paying attention to put them in exactly the right spot versus grouping with like bricks or light colors, or, you know, those would be the bricks I would first want to use if I needed a brick of that type and color and shape. So I had fun. I mean, I was listening to my book. It was all good. I got a good bit done. There's always more to do. So Dawn charged at the Valdosta, Georgia supercharger this morning. It was about 12 miles from our friend's house, and he got about 5 miles below 20%, so it cut off Sentry mode overnight, but that really wasn't a concern at the location that he was parked. But it is a thought process when you're going to park for the night and supercharge in the morning. Not just do I have enough charge to make it to where I'm going to charge in the morning, assuming that, you know, you're not charging at your overnight stop. Don just didn't feel like getting out the cable and plugging into 110. It just wasn't important to him. He had already calculated to where he charged enough in Brunswick before arriving at the house and was close enough to the supercharger the next morning to charge once he left the house. The other consideration, which last night, the most important thing to Don was maximum amount of time with my friends and enough to get to the supercharger the next morning. But another consideration would have been warm battery, and that's not the right place to cross, sweetie. I mean, I'd let you go, but that's just not a good choice. She was going to come in front of me, cross at the intersection. There's a crosswalk there. I don't know what's going on. I'll be careful for her because the lights turn green now. Sorry. So what was I trying to say? Sometimes people really do things that are questionable, that are distracting. I hope she makes it across the street okay. I suppose I could have parked and asked her if she'd like a ride home. She probably likes to walk. So the other consideration is that when you've been traveling all day, your battery is warm. So if you go to the supercharger before you park for the night and you charge up, it's gonna take you less time overall. When Dawn got up this morning, it was only 12 miles to the supercharger. Even it may have preconditioned some, it may have preconditioned enough, but typically, you know, it's doing some preconditioning at that point. So to warm the battery up so that it's really ready to receive the maximum charge that it can. So when it's convenient, I think charging the night before is better, but you know, that wasn't Don's criteria. If he had to spend 5 or 10 extra minutes at the supercharger this morning, he didn't care. And he was ready to leave, but he got to talking to somebody over there, and I think he ended up staying 15, 20, 25 minutes longer than he had originally intended because he was having such a good time chatting it up at the supercharger. There's a video, and I'm going to put it up after this one, of his time there, and apparently you can park on either side of the pedestals at Valdosta. And there was some confusion about, well, the parking space in front of the pedestal's open, but the person on the other side has used that cable. You can't charge there. And Don apparently had some discussion about that. So anyway, back of that pickup truck has a big box called Juice Box, and it has a no smoking sticker on it. I thought Juice Box or one of those, a name similar to that had to do with charging. I don't know what that is. He's got in the back there. Just saying, the slow car at the front of the line is a Model Y. Midnight Silver Metallic. He's actually above the speed limit. We just all went around this wide load. He's basically causing traffic issues, even though he's doing what he's supposed to be in the right-hand lane. Oh, come on, Charger. Don't do it. It's a young guy in the Model Y with his wife or his girlfriend or his sister And he just did some weird stuff. He got into the left turn lane, and then he got back in this traffic line with in front of people, like he cut right back over. I don't know what's going on. It is a paper tag. The wide load guy came to a stop in the left-hand lane, put on his turn signal to make a U-turn at one of those crossovers where there's not a turn lane, and it's a no U-turn sign there. So he's basically totally blocking traffic back there, but he must not know where he's going. Hopefully everyone will remain patient while he gets out of the way. I'm chuckling now because I wonder if the Model Y was driving with the beta. Well, it can't have the beta for a car with a paper tag, right? They wouldn't have given the car the beta that fast. No way. Because within 30 days, I doubt it. I highly doubt it. It's possible though, but I really highly doubt it. When I left home, Ruby said 1:06 p.m. and then she chives all the way up to 1:16 p.m. and there's an accident apparently inbound. Ruby did not reroute me. It must have not have met the criteria, but it was really starting to slow up, and I was able to divert onto 70 here and then go in on, you know, make a left, go in on Hammond again. I'll let Johnny know. I stopped at the red light to look and then turned to the right to, you know, get around the accident, and someone behind me in the turn lane had the nerve to honk at me. I'm like, people, you have to actually stop for the red light. If we were up just a little higher, it would be really pretty going into the city over here. Right when it's pretty, we get down low and then you lose the view. I swear I'm on the road with some crazies this afternoon. I'm ready to get out of the car. It's just nuts. I had to drop Johnny off at the student union for the tour by himself because I cannot find a place to park. Everything is employee restricted, permit, and the one public space, there's not enough spot. I seriously think they need to rethink this tour, because they could have had us go to Centennial Campus. They could have a Wolf Line bus dedicated to helping people, to us load on, and then take us wherever we need to go. Trying to get somebody that's has no experience with being on campus whatsoever, that's never navigated campus before, try to park in basically the heart of the campus in the middle of the afternoon. That is just not a good experience. If only they'd sent me to the Dan Allen parking deck in the first place. Ruby has a really nice spot. I finally figured out how to pay, and then if I only just understood where Johnny was now. I'll figure it out. All of these buildings in here are residence halls. I should have started my walk again. Oh my goodness. 4101, 4101. I have hustled from the parking deck.
43 going up.
All right, we're almost back to Ruby. I seriously don't know what I was thinking doing my normal walk this morning, since I'm sure we walked 3 miles on the tour. It was great. Ran into a student here that watches TeslaModelXJourney, and he stopped to say hi, and we took a picture, and that was really cool. That doesn't happen to me too often, but that was cool. We got a lot of good information today. Several questions answered. And if I ever come on campus again, I'm coming straight to the Dan Allen parking deck. I am never going to Coliseum again. Sizzling in the skillet, and I've got all of my sorting cleaned up and finished and put away. I did send some messages back and forth with Don, and you know, he was at JB's and Susie was feeding him good, had some ribs, and they got the over-the-air antenna DVR that, like a channel master, I think Don took down there. They got that hooked up. So they started doing a little, you know, did a little project today, and he's having a good time, and all's good.